Hey everybody, this is Dave from Growing the Home Garden. A couple weeks ago I removed a Shasta Viburnum and took it completely down. It's still there from the roots. There's some stems sticking up. But what happened after I removed that is all the sun that was getting shaded in that corner area suddenly became a shady or a sunny area. And so I had hostas there. This is a sum and substance hosta that immediately started taking a beating from the sun. So you can see some of the sunburn damage that it's gotten. Doesn't look that great. This was actually one plant, and so what I did is I transplanted it over here underneath a Japanese maple, where it's sure to get a good amount of shade and should be able to recover just fine. But I ended up making two of them. Sum and substance gets pretty large. It's a nice kind of green tinted one with real large leaves, and just a good one to have in the garden. So that's what happened. You got to be careful when you are moving a tree or taking something out. Think ahead, see what it's going to affect, because if you remove shade and something is not used to it, like hostas or other shade-loving plants, you may end up damaging them. In which case you may want to go ahead and plan on moving them. In my case, I just didn't get around to it, and of course they suffered for it, but they should recover okay. They're pretty hardy perennials, and they may not look good now, but I bet next year they'll bounce right back and be just perfect in this little shade garden bed. While I was digging them up, and here's another change that's happening in the garden area because of the increased amount of shade. This garden bed used to have a lot of daffodils in it, and they have not really bloomed that well lately because of all the shade. So I mean, that's the reverse effect of the sunlight. The less sunlight there is, and the more sunlight they need, the less they're going to produce flowers and blooms like they're supposed to. So you just got to pay attention. Your garden will change. It is an ever-growing process and an ever-changing process. It will never sit still for you. We all know if you turn around for more than a day, you've got weeds everywhere. So you got to keep up on top of things and move with the changes. And when something needs adjusted, be ready to make that adjustment. So these daffodils need transplanted to some other location. There's several of them right here. And when I was digging, this happened. It's not a big deal because there's a lot of them, but I just split one daffodil right in half. That may recover. It may not. I'm not sure. So. And just to give you a quick update on the Shasta Viburnum, I mentioned in that video that I was pretty sure it was going to come back. And I was okay if it did, because then I can keep it into a better prune shape. And there you go. You see it's coming right back. There's a lot of strong growth coming off the stems here. You can see that down in the interior part of it. And it's going to do just fine once it grows a little bit. The key on this case is to keep it pruned back a lot better than I had it before. It was just massive, probably 12 feet tall, and probably that big around, really. So, right plant, right place. Always remember that. It's not just lip service. It is what you really need to do, otherwise it'll cause you problems later. You buy a small little plant at the nursery and you think it's going to do great in this one little spot, but it won't just sit there. It's going to grow. So pay attention to the size and the shape that are on the plant tags. It's real important information, and it's really, really important to plant it in the right spot where it's not going to cause you much more work later on down the road. I'm out here today collecting seeds, and this is an Echinacea. This particular one is Powwow Wild Berry, and you can see it's gotten really overgrown, it's in Bermuda grass, which just takes over. It's ridiculous. But anyway, just coming out here to collect some seeds so I can replant this and sow it, maybe use it as some wildflower seeds. Real easy to do. You notice here on these seed heads here that the seed is already starting to come out. It's a sign that finches and other birds have come to use them as food. So I'm not going to take all of them. I'm going to take several seed heads out, and I'm going to leave some for the birds. There should be some more flowers coming along so that they will eventually form more seeds and have some more nourishment for the birds this fall and winter. So I'm going to go ahead and take some seeds. Here I've collected some seeds from Echinacea. It's all the Echinacea purpurea, which is your basic coneflower, your purple coneflower. The ones in this container are powwow wild berry, and these other ones are just a general Echinacea. Echinacea is used in a lot of different ways. Some people use it for an antiviral and stuff like that. You can make a tea out of it. You never want to have too much of it though. I hear that that's not good for you. So anyway, this Echinacea comes in these seed heads here, which is exactly why it's called a coneflower. I did a previous video about removing those seeds, and it's really so easy because it's a little spiky, so if you want to get like a stick or something, knock into there. But you almost could just shake them at this point and get quite a few seeds out. You see there in the bottom. Right there. See, those little brown pieces are the seeds. Now, Echinacea likes to have an overwinter period, so cold stratification. And if you put them out in the fall, kind of sow them as wildflower seeds would, they'll start growing up there. You can also do winter sowing with it, or you can put them away in the refrigerator over the winter time and then plant them fresh in the spring. So there's lots of different ways to treat your Echinacea seed. It's a really great plant for pollinators. It's a great plant for the birds. This time of year, the finches really love it. And you know, if you keep it deadheaded for a long time and then about this time of year stop doing the deadheading and let the last of the flowers form, you can actually make more seeds for those birds right when it's getting a little bit more important for them to be able to find things right around the fall to winter time. So Echinacea is a really cool plant, but there's lots of different seeds that you can harvest this time of year. But it is that time of year where you need to start looking. Gather your seeds. See, there's one right there at the end of my thumb. See, they're all falling out. It's that little brown, get in front of the camera there. Right here. Yeah. Right there. Those little pieces. Those are the seeds of the Echinacea. So this time of year you can save all kinds of different types of seed, your Rudbeckias, zinnia seeds, all kinds of things. You can make your own seed mixes. A lot of possibilities out there for saving seeds. So anyway, in the comments, why don't you tell me about your favorite seeds that you like to save and how you like to grow them each year. So do you like to winter sow? Do you stratify them in the fridge? What method is your go-to method for things? Or do you use a bunch of different methods? Let's just start a conversation and let me know what you think. Showing you this seed from our red Buckeye plant. These things are massive right now. I've seen them smaller than that, but if you see it in perspective, my hand, they're usually about half that size when I see them. And I've grown plants with them before, but they didn't make it through the winter. And then I planted them again the following year, and chipmunks got into them. Might have been squirrels. But anyway, I've got a few here on this plant. And what's really cool about this is it sends up these red stalks of flowers that are really good for attracting hummingbirds. So you can see the foliage is starting to die off for the fall. And red Buckeye is really easy to grow. It likes a part shade location. And here I've got it back behind our garden shed, underneath a bunch of trees here. Those are hackberry trees. Some maple. It likes being in the understory. And it's just a really neat tree to have around. So I'll collect these seeds and probably sow them. You don't want to let them dry out. Once they dry out, they're pretty much dead. But we'll sow them this fall and see if we can get some more plants to grow. One alternative might be to just take these out to my land and go plant them in a few places in the woods and see if they'll just grow on their own. Looks like I've got about 6 seeds on this one tree. So, quick little video on the red buckeye. Thanks for watching.